Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today I'm going to be talking about FSR, Fisker incorporations. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to briefly go through technical analysis because it gives us a bit of an insight onto the psychology of these traders. Then I'm going to go towards what I think about the stock, anything I can find on their website, whether it's presentation, etc., filings and the recent filings and what they mean, and what I think the future of the stock is going to be. Let's jump right into it. So on a 1 week perspective, what we get to see here is an attempt towards a negative reversal that basically was short-lived, and we're getting to see a positive reversal here. Now the chart looks all around the place, and you get to see it's almost a massive jump, all the way up a tank and then back of a jump. Moving averages are a little bit choppy. It tends to be a little bit more on the bearish side than the bullish side. The X shows in a very strong negative trend around here that kind of got a reversal off, so ADX doesn't tell us much. William %R gives us more of a neutral sense, and momentum looks like it's actually recovering. So we can take a quick look into a 1 day perspective to identify what's next. An MACD here shows in and confirms a very positive reversal. Moving averages are fully bullish on this one. 10 SMA is above 30 EMA, it's above 50 SMA and the 200 SMA. And if it does dip all the way down to 1083, it has a very strong chance to see a reversal because it's in the trading action zone. Now currently on the 80X it doesn't show a strong trend. William %R is overbought, but MACD really bullish and momentum here is really strong. Now taking a quick look into the moving averages, we get to see, well, of course the volume here we already know because Joe Biden is now officially the president-elect. But previously we've seen a recovery back in terms of volumes around this region. For the sake of the argument, the moving average band trades at 1280 on the top, 1164 in the middle, and 1047 in the bottom. Next thing we get to look at is the stochastic fast and slow. You get to see here is that it's actually, it looks like it might be attempting another leg, but usually around this area here is giving you a little bit of a warning. You get to see it's actually quite high, around 93.3 on the stochastic fast, and 64.96 on the %D fast. That's usually a warning sign. Although the stochastic slow is telling you there is another leg. Actually, both of them are telling you there is a potential for another leg for this. But it gives you a slight warning there. Fibonacci retracements, this one here is a little bit messed up, but the best thing about it is that we're not going way far on Fibonacci retracements. Significant Fibonacci retracement support sits at 1366, above that resistance 1518, 1670, and 1886. The next support after 1366 on the Fibonacci retracement is 1178. Now let's take a quick look into significant resistances and support. Starting with the support, we currently look at is a support sitting at somewhere around the 1408. After the 1408, we're looking down towards 1367. After 1367, we're looking at 1295. 1295 is 1212, and from 1212 we're looking at 1165 down to 1119, and the absolute one that I'll put a stop limit below is 1068. Significant resistances here, 1438 is a significant one, followed by 1509, followed by 1741, followed by 1822, and from there on the sky's the limit. So let's take a quick look into the company presentation and what this has in sight. Now, first thing I want to compare it to Tesla's Model Y. Why I have the Tesla's website. This is not the Fisker. Fisker's website is this one here on the ocean kind of one. Previously, they used to show the silver one. Now they have the new prototype with the orange. So there's that. So let's take a quick look and take a stab at it and compare them. Right. So first of all, is the base price is around 37,500. So 37,500. The Tesla US model Model X is around 74,690. So a bit more than double actually, or very close to double, I would say. When we look into their miles or their range, this one here has a minimum range of 250 miles, but from what I remember is there was talks about additional kind of longer range, but that's something to keep in mind. 0 to 60 miles per hour at 2.9 seconds. The Tesla One offers a 4.4 second for 0 to 60 miles per hour. The difference looks like it could be 100 miles, but that's for the lower range model. But if we're talking about half the price for 100 miles lower, that's something to be considering. Now, it says here it comes with a solar roof, but this is expected to add about 1,000 miles off range annually. So that is something to consider, is that it has a solar roof as well. But if you're here in Canada where it snows half the time, solar roofs, and part of the days where winters are very short, or sorry, days are very short in the winter, might not be very sustainable. But that's something to consider. Next thing we're looking at here is their investor relations. So we're going on towards their investor relations. I try to go on to finding presentations per se. I was kind of disappointed here that I couldn't find the presentations. I mean, I even submitted for the investor email alerts, but it didn't actually give me an access to there. So that is something. But anyway, taking a move forward into their previous webcast. I haven't watched it, but it is worth a watch for October 20th. It really doesn't talk much regarding the actual developments, but rather than updates for the SPAC going on to FSR, etc. Of course, they got to ring the bell on November 9th. Nothing significant. I mean, you might credit some of its exposure today to FSR to ringing the bell, but it's more about exposure. And here's why. And here, like, this is the massive kind of deal breaker for me. If you remember, Nikola had a lot of kind of hate when it comes towards it, and General Motors ended up jumping the ship, and a lot of people basically said, you know, even General Motors is very desperate to catch up on the EV industry, that it's going to go with something sketchy. Now, of course, with SPACs and whatnot, that did kind of create a little bit of a fear in this market, but here's one thing I noticed on this company, okay? Something very interesting. Look at the type of people they're asking. This is recently we've been having job offerings for quite a while. Now, they've just put in a bunch of job offerings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of these 5, 3 are engineers. Senior engineer for powertrain systems, lead dimensional engineer, and homologation lead engineer. You got sustainability attribute expert and desktop support analyst. So you still got there. You also got the director for ESG and the European after sales director, junior legal. That's all this week. So they've added a lot of positions, and that kind of shows you they're interested, and you know they're serious about the market. Now, one thing you might be asking, who's going to be paying for all this, right? They have no product. Their earnings coming up will probably be something related to previous offerings. And you're right, you know, the reverse merger or the IPO through a SPAC has left a lot of money for FSR. Now, there is as well additional SEC filings that was just submitted today, I think an hour ago or so. They have the right to sell. Look at this number here. That's hundreds, thousands, millions, $1.6 billion worth of shares, coming in around 152 million shares. Now, some of that will include around 9.4 warrants, so that's aside from the common shares, but usually it's not something to be worried about. But in the future, hey, I do expect offerings are going to come. It's a part of offerings in different companies, but mainly these ones are for warrants. I'm not going to worry about it that much. But in the future, just realize one thing. The future of this stock is we're going to rely on multiple things. One, Joe Biden's plan as well, the 46th president, as if we're talking right now, a lot of news medias have confirmed the Associated Press, and we've been doing this for quite a while. I had some people reach out to me on Twitter and say, hey, you know, Joe Biden still got to do recounts and frauds and stuff. Here's what we did. Every single presidential election, we have a projected president elect, right? And the market will react on that. Until proven otherwise, this is the one I'm going to go with Associated Press. I'm Canadian, so I really just play the market and look into it and say, well, how am I going to make money? And that should be your objective here on trading. There's no point to put your political opinions through and push it on people. Want to make money, right? The next thing here we're going to look at is with Joe Biden plan, you're going to see a lot of push for EV, and he even mentioned it. Less oil, more EV. So this one here is another US kind of manufacturer for electrical vehicles. So this one here, I do expect for it to kind of catch up as well. It kind of labels itself as recycled material, sustainable, etc, etc, etc. So that's another push. The third, or sorry, I think I'm going at fourth right now. The fourth one is its cheaper model, so it kind of gives you a little bit on the cheaper end. Its launch, though, is in 2022. There's a little bit of speculations about Fisker before, because it was on the verge of bankruptcy before, and I believe it did go as well bankrupt once upon a time. Next thing here is the fear in the market, and it depends on the market correction, but overall, I do think this one has a future. How long, Ed? Tough to say, but you need to always check where volume comes in, right? Because right now, it's in a massive rally. Joe Biden winning, releasing the market to be higher. The Dow, I think, closed around 4% or 5% higher. The EV industry, EV and the cannabis industry rallied. So you need to let it calm down, because here's one big thing. Joe Biden, if he continues on and, you know, all that kind of fraud things, I'm not going just, you know, to satisfy both sides, gets inaugurated on January 20th and takes office on January 21st, or at least his actions are on January 21st. I don't think this is going to be the top thing on his plan, but I know Paris Agreement, climate change stuff is on his plans for at least the first months or so. You do expect another rally then, but between here and then, you need to consider what's going to be happening and what's to move on to this one. Volume will tell you everything. Stop limits are tight. Keep an eye out. What do you think about this sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. You have a wonderful day.